we've been following too. That, I mean, it's still going as we've been carrying along. Is this area tectonically active? It must be. There must be faults running all through here.
Well, my apologies again. My V-Link was silent, and I was talking all about the technology on the ship and everything else, and once again didn't get a response, and I realized my V-Link had timed out or something.
I think we, well,
yeah, no,
I
we
think
heard you.
Talking about,
I missed all that, I think.
Oh, okay, because when I logged out and logged in, I heard Amanda talking as though she was in the middle of talking about something, so I thought my V-Link had dropped out.
We might have just had very close to perfect timing on doing that. I followed up after you had stopped, I think after you had stopped, when you were talking about our access to the ship through V-Link and being able to basically stream in right now from our home.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's a cool feature. Yeah, it's a neat one.
Is that the black coral antipathes? Oh, that looks like a twist to it, but I think that was still antipathes. We're seeing a lot of sea anemones here. Sea cucumbers of all different colors. So the darker purple ones, and then we've seen some more pale ones. Some that are the same color as the sediment. I did say the wrong name. Alternipathes, maybe that black coral that we saw. Thank you, Erica. We also see these false crinoids with the brilliant yellow color there. So false crinoids are also called feather stars. They anchor themselves to the rock that they're holding onto, and then they project up into the water column and suspension feed on particles that drift by and capture and bring over like a little conveyor belt to their mouth.
Yeah, you can see
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can see with this long linear feature how, it's like one long puzzle piece, how you can tell it used to be together, and there's been a bit of a separation. Been pulled apart,
yeah, sure
essentially.
thing. All right, this is around 060 here. And actually, in order to do this, I'll come up at around 5 meters altitude so we get a better bearing.
This is a really interesting feature.
Oh, it's about 4 meters here, 4.5. All right. Chad, we're just getting a bearing for the slope here and seeing what's the good heading to go on.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think like 055.
Yeah, I think that's good. Thanks.
It's a good idea, Ben, thank you. Roger that.
Oh, we see a really long, thin coral there, a single stalk that looks like lepidisis. Nice single stalked coral that can grow quite long, 2 meters long. I've seen them. So yeah, definitely good sitting there in the current. Beautiful white sponge over there. I think sponges are just really impressive when you see them because they're you know, they could get covered up with sediments. They just sit there, but they're not. They're usually keeping themselves quite clean. So that means that even though you don't see a lot going on, there's probably a lot of cleaning and maintenance going on to live in a sedimented area. Well, on these rocks, I've also been noticing more of the acorn worms. There's one just moving off screen now. Those acorn worms are also called hemichordate. They are fairly common to see in deep sea areas, and they snuffle along and they're deposit feeders, so they'll eat stuff that falls onto the rocks, things like marine snow, and then they leave really identifiable trails of spiral fecal pellets. So they sort of swim in a, or sorry, not swim, but move on the seafloor in a small spiral and poop as they go. So you can sometimes see these things that look like psychedelic spirals or targets on the seafloor, and it's probably acorn worm species.
Psychedelic
That's just how the
spirals
acorn worms do. Yeah.
made of feces. That's a new one.
Spiral fecal pellet. It was in the title of a paper. I love that.
Interesting.
It looks like these big pillowy things as we approach this peak of this ridge.
Sorry.
Should be pretty close. So
Roger that.
There's another tall lepidisis in the background on the right-hand side of the screen. More alternataphes growing down between these two large rocks. You see a lot of crinoids growing. Those are the feather stars. The purple bellowing tentacles would be a form of a sea anemone. And then the white is often sponges in these views, although I also see a white sea cucumber just below the lasers and a pink sea cucumber off to the right. We're seeing a lot of different diversity of animal phyla, feeding modes, and levels of mobility. So things that are fully sessile, which means they don't move, and then things that are more mobile, so they can move around. Yeah, this is just a really diverse area to be looking at. It's really cool to see all these different things coexisting, and I think it's really neat to see how many different suspension feeders there are, because yeah, they can all eat marine snow, but probably they're all taking different particles from that marine snow, and you know, they could be specializing on some over others. That's a hypothesis I have, you know, just based on particle capture. Maybe you have different species that can specialize in different sizes or different types of food that they can capture, and therefore they can coexist. Ooh, what is that?
Oh, yeah, we're going to start heading down slope soon.
Okay.
Sure.
Is it possible to get a zoom on that colonial octocoral there?
Bridge nav. Can I get 30 meters 050? Thanks. That is a very cool shot in the Argus cam.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially before you came up on the Delta.
Yeah, he looks like a gargoyle's face.
Really does.
Sorry, I should probably go off SPO for these comments, but.
Oh, I think that's very scientific. That's what it looks like.
Oh, I forgot to ask when we got to the bottom. Can you power cycle the optode if it's not reading right now?
Oh yeah, it was off. Sorry. Should be on now.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Quite a picture.
Looks like one of those horsehead tunicates there, huh? Amanda, on the left.
Am I missing it? It's off screen?
Can we pan to the left? I don't know if you're going to get dragged, if you can stop, but...
Yeah, we can look for the left. Do you know what you want to see?
Yeah, it's a little ahead now. It's barely in view, but there's I believe it's a tunicate attached to a string near the top. Oh boy, I really wish I could use that telestrator I was using on the ship. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to get back out in front of Argus now.
Way up on top.
Okay, no worries.
Great.
Yeah, it's higher up. That's okay. We don't have to look at it.
Roger that.
So maybe Coolio
These are requests if we can.
Maybe on the base of this, if we maybe like here. That's what you're looking at. That slope is north, right?
Yeah, so let's see.
So I'm thinking of bring us like 010 or...
To go back onto that strike there.
Yeah. Because we were working up this, and then now we're on this ridge, which I think is more north-south.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Chad doesn't want to go to A3, right?
Chad, A3 is just a marker target. You just want us to get...
Yeah, can you... Yeah, just up to the top, kind of the summit of that next local maxima. Thanks.
Great, that's what we'll go for.
All right, so around 010, you say?
Let's just look for a second.
So...
Yeah, I think that looks... Maybe even just due north.
Let's have a look. So right now I'm at 050, or sorry, 005. So yeah, 010 should be fine.
Yeah, let's do it. So it's going to be downslope for quite a while.
Can you pan the high pack map down a little bit so we can see a little further north?
Sorry, say that again?
If you could just pan,
I can pan
the high pack map down a little bit.
Oh, down?
Yeah, just so we don't see necessarily the trail behind us. I mean, you don't have to zoom out. I just wanted to move a little bit so I could see further north.
Yeah. So we just tried to hit the maximum, keep up slope and hit the top of each of these. So it may be a little translated in X and Y on that map. But
I wonder if the currents have lightened up. Seems like these kind of like they're not all bent in the same direction.
I think they're all, it seems, yeah. I'll let go of the stick so we can see where we float. Yeah, you can kind of see the marine debris coming across the
into us
lens there. Sorry.
Oh, you're right.
towards.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not as ripping as it was before, but still is a bit of a current.
I think it was in between those two peaks you got the big current.
I see. A lot of sea stars here too, actually. I noticed that string of them. The giant cusped seal in the southwest, Spectrunculus grandis, and some lovely different species and shapes of sponges.
Rich nav, you can add 30 meters 010. Yeah, 30 meters 010. Thanks.
Interesting how patchy the sea stars are. It must be that they've been attracted to certain spots by food or some other scent.
Yeah, when we first started seeing groupings of them, I got a little excited about them being near the warm water seeps because aside from those whelks, they were kind of the primary scavengers in those octopus nursery areas.
The giant cusped seal again. Is this the main depth that we'll be at? Because I know you said we're going along ridges right now.
Yeah, so that's
Like
315.
we're 1,900 meters.
Roger that.
Yeah, Amanda, we're a tiny bit ahead of schedule, which is good. We've gone up this main ridge for probably the second largest cone we'll see during this dive, or feature off the seafloor. So right now we're going to be heading a little downslope. So we're going to kind of half see the seafloor for some of this part of the stretch.
I can call down to the data
Or
line.
some of this. Well, to me, Davidson Seamount definitely has never disappointed as we've come out here. The geology here is amazing. The size of these boulders, it's sort of hard to wrap my brain around, like, because we're flying over the top, but walking through some of these places would be like walking through Pinnacles National Monument, in California, or some of these really huge geological features.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty bang on.
Yeah. This is the most circular ship track I've ever seen. Plus 10 degrees, plus 10 degrees. It's pretty good.
It looks like we'll be right at the top for the watch change, and they can go down slope and have less visual contact on the ground.
Sorry.
How I drew it up.
Thanks, Chad.
On the right of the screen, looks like we've got a Brisingis sea star. So this is similar but different from the crinoids. It is related, but it is part of the sea star class rather than class Crinoidea. So, you know, it's more closely related to the sea stars that you would think of as the predatory ones that move along the seafloor. Those have been, Brisingis is a group that has been modified for filter feeding. And also on the bottom of the screen right now, you can see a brown xenophyophore. So these are the really gigantic single-celled protists that live in the deep sea and build these huge structures out of sand grains and other materials that sort of cement together from the sand sediments around them. Off the cliff there.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man.
That's another fantastic.
Where there is one. There might just be one, but hopefully there's more.
But what does the upload say? Is it hot enough? The one we saw before was the male, though, right?
Yes.
Paratrooper.
Yeah, one we saw was a male, and this is a different genus to what we've been seeing over at the other place.
Whole different genus. So, Chad, if you notice, we're still coming up slope, and we're pretty well north of that feature in our map. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So when you made those targets A3, you said you made it on a different map. Was that?
I had the geotiff from OAT. I did not have the raw data for the grid with Z coordinates on there.
But
so I couldn't
was A3 supposed to be on the summit, or was it supposed to be on that contour off the summit?
It was supposed to be close.
Okay,
all right. That way.
No, it's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Is it possible to zoom on that cluster of sea stars in the lower left?
Yeah, sure. Let me find what you're talking about.
Oh, I might be a little behind you. I'm going to refresh.
Yeah.
All right, Marley, you want to do a snap zoom there, please? Yep. That is a constellation for you.
Messy one. So is that like a feeding frenzy in the middle there?
Another one doing push-ups.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the one sitting upright on the left.
Yeah, I see that guy.
That could
Good
be a
cartoon.
feeding or breeding posture.
Breeding,
Spawning.
wow.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, in brittle
Right.
stars, I know
Okay,
that,
Marley.
but
Sorry, guys.
We'll leave up B for now.
It does certainly seem like these waypoints or the maps offset pretty good.
The waypoints I don't mind, it's the map, but it's
Yeah.
very, very.
Erica gave some identification for these sea stars. They're of family Zoroastridae.
I think they had some trash down there.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to do our watch change. Video is switching over. See you guys at 4 a.m.
Huh. Really? Oh, yeah.
So
see you
Chad,
then.
are we early or late for getting to A3?
We are a little early, which is
Nice.
good. So, yeah,
There we go.
we're doing well.
Looks like we're flat. It looks like the sonar is pretty clear.
Yeah,
We are at the top.
just made it.
Oof.
All right. It's only
Whoa, at the top.
100 meters north. 115
I was about to
meters
say, this is a little off from the map. Okay, that's interesting.
It's all right. It's a nav dreamland.
Oh, man.
And then maybe we'll hold off here on the tops, zoom in on something under that. Raj. All right, anything you guys want to look at while we change over watches?
Yeah, there was a coral behind, but I think you're too far over it right now.
Yeah. There is a coral right dead ahead. We can just sit down and you guys can zoom in.
I think a close-up somewhere would be good. You can see some of the smaller things.
Oh, Raj, switching over. Thanks, guys. See you guys at 4.
All right, see you, Jeff.
Bye, Jeff. Thank you.
All right, for those of you at home, we're hitting 8 p.m. local time Pacific, and that is when the shift change is going to happen. So it usually takes about 5 to 10 minutes for all of the people in the van to switch seats, and they kind of do a handoff, information exchange, what they're doing, what they're supposed to do next, any problems that have happened, just kind of an information thing. And so Amanda and I are going to do the same thing. We're going to be handing off the at-home part of guiding this dive to our colleagues, Jan Roletto and Jennifer Brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to say goodbye, and then I'm going to hop on in another channel and talk to them and do that same kind of information exchange. And then when they come back online, there'll be a couple of new people to be talking to you and explain to you what we're doing. So thanks for listening. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, thanks everyone. And we're still going to be watching in the science chat, so this will be good. Getting lots of new information and seeing new things as we keep going.
Alrighty. Bob, before we get moving, can we do a DVL reset here?
If you can figure out where it is.
How about...
Oh, I see why you wanted me to update. With you now.
And hello, Shoreside Science.
Nobody home.
We'll hold here then.
They're on the other channel right now chatting.
No worries.
Sure.
We'll just putter here for a bit, get set up.
What were we doing?
We were. They had come to the top of the hill here. However, we've got about 150 meter offset. So we are at the top here. And what Ben mentioned we're going to do next is head down the slope. But they recommended doing quite a bit of navigating by sight and using the mesotech since we have such a large offset. So I want to make sure that science doesn't want to do anything up here at the top of this little knoll before we head downslope.
Is this the octocone?
No, we're on the southwest flank of Davidson Seamount on a site that was identified as potentially of interest for hard substrate for corals and sponges, or even potentially the kind of venting system we saw where the octopus garden is. So very promising feature, but not somewhere we've been before.
We know what the offset there was.
Exactly. That would be too easy. But yeah, the site was of interest because it had possibility that these outcrops serve as conduits of warm water, much like outcrops found on the southeastern side of Davidson that support the octopus nurseries.
Are we looking at corals and sponges and whatnot?
Sure, while we wait for shoreside to get back on. Yep.
Okay. Hey Al, can you zoom in?
Sorry, I'm already troubleshooting. What, you need to zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slide into the current here. Oh, well, this is going to work.
Hmm.
What are we troubleshooting tonight?
RTS. The video, the intercom. Everything just seems to be changing lately, and no one seems to know why things are changing. So
Interesting. And Al, does that troubleshooting include the V-Link, or is that steady?
we're always troubleshooting.
Okay.
Always.
You got more zoom? Look at all that zoom.
You got better pan or tilt? And I give up.
All right, you can zoom out. Look at something else. Stuff down here.
Interesting color sea cucumber.
We got here 0.5 on the heading. That's interesting. You want to zoom in on that, Al?
Can we delay the zooms just for a little bit while I get my platform settled?
Okay.
Thanks. Well, I'm zoomed in now, so I have to zoom out to
Okay.
be neutral. When you're ready, let me know.
Go for it. Do what you need to do. What's going on?
Okay, now I'm working on the audio in our records. So I need some conversation on SPL. If y'all could think of something, it'd be great. great. Thank you.
All right, well, I will ask, do we have a ship move underway right now?
We are completely stopped. I want to make sure that we check in with science before we leave this top of the little knoll here.
And are we not able to hear from science right now? Is that?
Hello.
Oh, hello.
There's science.
Hi, sorry we had to check in. We were eyeing that white sponge and planning to collect it. There might be one to the left, the trumpet-looking sponge.
Okay, you're breaking up a lot, but we think that there was a white sponge that we had seen earlier, so we can try to backtrack for that one.
Al, I'm going to need your magic.
Oh, I've got the wizard standing next to me.
Awesome.
They don't need that exact sponge. They're looking for this bugle sponge. This
Perfect.
white.
The trunk, it's right in front of you. Yeah.
Great.
I'm going to pop off so you can come right back.
Roger.
I'm going to put up telestrator. And telestrator's on channel 3.
Yeah, there's actually 2 right here. 1 and 2.
Can you hear me now?
We do.
All right. Does it sound any better?
A lot better. What did you do?
Ooh. I just logged out and logged back on.
Before,
I know. Well, at least it can start that way.
Oh, no.
yeah. See, Al, you spoke.
Oh.
I did.
Zoom in? Are we zoomable condition?
I am.
Yeah, so you were looking at that one sponge, and I asked Amanda what it was. She goes, I don't know, and I'd love to get one. And we said, well, let's just grab one. So.
Shot with lasers on? Or are they already?
Can we do lasers on?
Yes, please. Oh.
Might have to zoom out.
So she's
Yep, that's
lasers, please. Yep. She says, it looks slightly different morphology, but the texture is right. Yes, let's collect this one. She wasn't sure if
What's the collection?
she wasn't sure whether the slurp or the or taking
Taking a what?
Chunk.
Oh. So, yeah.
Test.
We were looking at that one sponge, and I asked Amanda what it was. She goes, I don't know, and I'd love to get one.
Test. Can you hear me?
Yep. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
we hear you. Who's this? Just testing for this.
Great. This is Jan.
Hi, Jan. It's Al.
I've just been quieting the room, getting everything put away, like the pets and the husband, and I'm ready. Sorry it took me so long. I started at 7:30.
Hi, Jan, are you lead A?
I'm lead A, yes.
Okay. Sorry if we interrupt you now and then, but we're troubleshooting V-Link, trying to get everything sorted out here.
No problem. Please troubleshoot V-Link.
Sorry, I had to get untangled from the headset there. Okay, so we're going to try a piece of it. Oh, slurp. Where's it going to go?
They said either or. What do you feel better about doing?
Well, we don't have the coral cutters on this dive. So,
Let's try and grab a chunk of it. I think I'm guessing here, but it should be pretty easy to tear. That's what I'm hoping. Grab a chunk of it, throw it in the forward box.
Thanks, Steve. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Can hear you.
Great.
Yeah, you sound good, Jan.
figure it out here.
All right. Hi, Jan. So now I'm hearing an echo, Jan. Do you have another feed on?
I don't. Oh, maybe I do. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, now, how's that? How's that?
Much better.
Try that.
Let's see, much better.
Oh no,
Okay,
we still
that
have
was
an echo.
like a third
Nope,
computer
the echo,
that I'm using
the
tonight.
echo's still there.
We still have an echo.
There's still an echo.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, all of my channels are off on all computers.
I hate to break it to you,
Do you
but
have a
I know.
headset on?
I do.
I wonder if your mic is on your laptop is active.
No, I got my headset on and I only have V-Link on one computer, and I'm viewing on 3 different computers.
Yeah. Now the echo seems to be gone. Oh, it's subtle. It's a miss.
All of. How about all of? Now I've turned all of Nautilus off, and only SBL is on. How's that?
Still hear the echo.
Shoot, I don't think.
See,
it's
we don't
coming
hear
from
you
me,
echoing though. I hear a slight echo
something in
from me.
the van.
We can't echo here.
Can you zoom out now?
That's not even. Stand by, zooming out. Yeah, it's not feasible.
Can we rotate
Ready
the
for
sample a
tool
little
tryout?
bit in hand?
Yeah. Okay, you want to zoom in again now?
No.
Why? Why?
I'll make an exception for you, Bob.
Go.
Oh.
All right. Got
Good?
some pictures. Yep.
All right. Thank you. That looks great.
Okay, zoom out.
So I have to say that I received the samples from the 2 Pioneer dives last night. Chad brought them home, and I picked them up from his home.
Where's this going?
Either. They're all empty.
And all the samples are so much smaller than what they look like on video. I just got to say, I was surprised. I'm like, I thought this was a meter wide. I was like, oh, it's like 30 centimeters.
Oh, good. Not too floaty. And Amanda says that
That's
was
my echo
perfect.
now.
Thank you.
You're not echoing.
Okay.
But we hear an echo from. I'm sorry, I forgot who's on. Jennifer.
Do we want the porch light on?
Jennifer, yes.
Not now.
Okay.
I hear the van voices echoing as well.
You do. Well, when you're speaking.
I don't hear the van at all. Jan Roletter does not hear the van at all.
And Jan, I don't hear any echo when you speak. Jennifer, you go ahead and speak, please.
That sample looked great.
No echo. And I don't hear my voice coming back to me either.
So I'm hearing echoes though.
But you do.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it possible that V-Link to happen? Because I wasn't hearing echoes until Jan joined us on V-Link. No, I'm sorry. Don't apologize. No, we're just trying to figure it out.
And the wizard is rubbing his beard and scratching his pointy hat and saying, "Stand
So
this is
we've got
happening."
that sample. Are we ready for a ship move now? Or
Yes.
do we still want to?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Nope. We can definitely start getting moving. As you know, we're gonna, or you may know, our main goal is to cover lots of ground.
All right, and we're going to start heading down slope.
So we just pop it
So
over
we
there?
are,
Sorry, go ahead.
my understanding is we are about 100 meters north of what looked to be the high point on the map. And we are north of A3, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. There's about a 100-meter offset, so we're actually probably at what we think is that we're at the top of this little knoll here. And so once we start moving from here, we're going to start heading down slope. So unless there's any reason to stay up here and look around at the top of this knoll, as soon as we start moving, we're going to move off of this knoll and down slope towards A4.
Okay.
Do we know why
So
we're
my
so far off?
question.
No, this is
well,
not
that.
No,
US,
no.
USBL.
No. We have the stern of the
Yeah.
ship is where Argus is hanging.
Okay.
It cannot be 100 meters away. That's a physical impossibility.
Then I do not know why it's off.
Doesn't work that way. We have 12,000 pounds. See that? 12,000 pounds of weight hanging off the stern. So it can't be 100 meters away. It's directly below the stern. And I'm almost below Argus. So.
Okay. On the map,
Yeah.
we have a 100-meter offset.
That's very
Al,
odd.
could we
Yes.
see the navigation in channel 3, please?
Yeah. And I'm writing it down this time. Who is what on the credentials? Jan, you are.
What are the contour lines here?
Hold on a second there, Paul. Jan, what's your login username?
All right. So do we know?
Lead
Jennifer is lead.
Jennifer is lead what?
C.
Thank you. And Jan, you're.
lead A.
Okay. Well.
Thank you.
Okay, so science,
Thank you.
okay to start moving towards A4?
Yeah. Well, so my question was, I'm kind of interested in the steeper part that's directly to our north, but I don't know if it's too steep for being able to descend and try to still keep some visual contact with the seafloor.
We'll have to see. What's
Okay.
Yeah, from the last watch, it sounded like they were doing a lot of visual navigation because the map was not accurate. So they went up the slope here, and now they reached the top of the slope, which is why they think there's this large offset from the map.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, I'd love to
lost
try to go
Pam
in
on
a steeper
navigation.
area if we can. But I know we don't know exactly what's ahead. So, so I'll just need you guys to help. But I'd rather stay in as steep as we can versus going to the north.
Does anybody hear me?
Yep.
I do. We're having some serious issues here. It sounds like, Jennifer, you're moving up too closer and then farther away from your microphone. I don't understand why.
Hey, Al, can you give me a junk zoom?
Junk zoom coming up. There you go.
Okay, so science, we're going to head straight north and check out some of that steeper terrain, and if we decide it's not working for us, we can change heading.
And we're hearing loud keyboard strikes. It sounds like there's a microphone open on a laptop.
North?
We're going due north. So science, we just put in a 20-meter ship move for due north. We can check that out and continue to step as we get a glimpse of what's ahead.
That's great. Sorry, I cut out right after I was talking to you, so I saw the ship move, so I figured
No worries.
we had worked it out.
Lots of troubleshooting happening.
Yeah, great. How do I sound right now?
Great.
There is an echo,
Okay.
though. I hear it.
You can hear it too? Okay.
Slight.
Yeah. It was worse before.
Yeah, definite echo.
Yeah, it does sound like a microphone on a keyboard because we hear the echo too soon for it to be off the Nautilus website.
Okay. I am not typing.
It's the
No,
Comcast
yes,
typing.
typing.